Good Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome into Philly AM Sports with Al and Mike. I'm Al. He's still
Mike.
Happy,
They haven't seen me for a while.
yeah, they haven't. And guess what? Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovers out there. And if you didn't have a happy one, maybe you made love to yourself or whatever you had to do to get through the day. That's okay. Um, but other than that, guys, welcome into the your favorite Philadelphia Sunday morning sports show right here in the anywhere on the interwebs, wherever you're watching it. Still a lot to talk about. Still a lot to conversate about. Nick Castellanos, as we know, is out. And I kind of had my conversation about it on Friday. We're going to hear about Mike's feelings on it. And a little additive to it, he is now signed with the Padres, who get to get him at league minimum. And the Phillies are still on the payroll for about 19 plus million. So, Mike, why don't you just rip off the Band-Aid here and start with your thoughts on everything?
To be honest with you, I was a huge Cassidy guy. I followed him throughout his career. So when he signed with the Phillies 4 years ago, man, I was ecstatic that they got him. The thing about it is, I don't know if it's the big market mentality, because if you look at his career, when he's gone to a big market, he's been an okay player, not a great player. When he became a great player was his time in like Detroit, Cincinnati. He was a great player, and I don't know what happened. We heard the story about the Miami incident. Um, where he was unhappy about being pulled out of a game, and he went back, got a beer, said some things to Rob Thompson, and almost got the Phillies in a world of trouble with his actions. And I think it was something where Casty probably thought he was a lot bigger star than what he is, if we can say that. And like I said, I'm a Castellanos fan, and it was obvious that was the kind of breaking point between him and the organization. You knew he wasn't coming back. So, I mean, if you're looking at things, man, I'm glad he's getting a fresh start out in San Diego. He'll help that team, just like he helped the Phillies. He does have postseason experience. He's played well in the postseason, so that should help the Padres with that. I wish him good luck going forward. Like I said, I'm still going to be a Cassidy guy. I just don't think, he is a superstar as much as he thinks he's a superstar. And
Personality defect, I guess.
Right? Yeah. I mean, he's a good player, borderline great player, but he's not a superstar. And
I think the ultimate learning situation from this is, I don't care how great you are. I mean, you're going to get more clout if you're, Bryce Harper versus Nick Castellanos versus Garrett Stubbs. You don't disrespect your ball.
If Garrett Stubbs did the same thing that Castellanos did, he would have been let go. He'd have been let go 2 days later, if not the next morning. He would have been a free agent. So, yeah, that's definitely in the mix. But I don't know, Al. I don't know about. I'm cautiously optimistic for this team this year.
I think that's the only thing you can be with the Phillies. I listen. Sans the Nick Castellanos, everything was great, grand, wonderful with him, and never happened. And he was just a go getter, team player, and all that stuff. I think the best you can be with this Phillies going into spring training and into the 2026 season is cautiously optimistic, because anything more than that would be ridiculous at this point. I mean, listen, they still have enough pieces to be a good team and a contending team to a point. Because there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of question marks that are going to be answered. Can Andrew Painter step up? Can Justin Crawford own his position in center field? And I'm not saying he has to be like a 300-plus hitter and all this stuff, but like wherever he levels out in, like, is he going to be in a 6-hole, 7-hole, and he does really well there?
I would like to see him move up to the top of the lineup, to be honest with you. And I that's my personal outlook for him. I think defensively, I think he's going to be just fine, Crawford. It's going to be offensively because he does hit a lot of ground balls. But this team needs that. They need a punch and Judy hitter No offense,
Mm-hmm.
a guy that makes contact down low, who can do line drives, and Crawford brings that to the table, man. So I'm real, I'm more optimistic about the team now. Granted, I'm not going to throw my pom poms in the air and say they're going to the World Series because there's obviously a better team in their league with the Dodgers. The Dodgers are two times defending champions. Good morning, Adam. They're two-time defending champions for a reason. They're good, and for you to get over that hump, you're going to have to beat those guys in October. So, but if you look around the rest of the landscape of the National League and just really kind of take a look at it, you know, Milwaukee's taking a giant step back. How are these new pieces that the Mets got? How are they going to? How are they going to be able to coincide? They're already going to be without Lindor to start the season. Are pitching the pitchers that they've acquired? How are they going to mesh into that rotation? The Braves, can they stay healthy? That's been the Braves thing. They haven't been able to stay healthy. I mean, they got a hell of a 1-2-3 punch too,
Sure.
with Sale, Schellenbach, and what's our boy's name, and Strider. So they have a hell of a three-headed monster down there.
Pitching wasn't an issue, like you said. Health, and they were getting hit around at times, and when they got hit around, it was bad.
Right. I mean, I'm just taking an overall look. I mean, San Diego's going to be right there in the mix. The Giants, I think, got a little, they got a little better.
San Diego always seems to be in the mix, but they're always looking up at the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. And San Diego, they do kind of what the Phillies do wrong sometimes. They just look for a big name and a big bopper. And I think by adding plug and connect, that's just that missing piece they need, and they'll be fine. Mm-hmm. Where they're wrong. And listen, kind of swinging back to the Nick Castellanos part of the conversation where it actually connects to that part of it, is San Diego probably got the best end of the deal in this situation, not just from the financial standpoint. Obviously, they're playing league minimum for Nick Castellanos, who is definitely above league minimum. Don't get me wrong on that one. I'm not sitting there even saying that. He's not $20 million, but he's definitely above league minimum. And as you mentioned, he's got postseason feel. He's done it before. He can be, when he wants to be, a really good player. From parts of the Matt Gelb conversation, he didn't take up to a liking when he was struggling, which happened a lot. That they're trying to teach him to be more plate disciplined and stop free swinging like he was. And in his brain, he's like, "That's what I do. That's been my success."
Right.
But it's and I guess he didn't want to hear that from two guys who weren't major league players or good major league players or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's another whole other thing too. Like, I feel that could hurt him going forward because now he's pretty much saying, well, if you ain't play major league ball, I don't really want to hear from you. Well,
I don't respect you. Yeah.
Yeah, like you really can't do that because they may not have made the major leagues as a player, but they made it as coaches, and again, I just feel like here, any big city with baseball, whether it be Chicago, Philly, New York, Boston, Los Angeles, you're under the microscope, man. You're under the microscope to perform. And I think with him going to San Diego, it's like Adam says, it's laid back down there. So he might have
much
a chance
smaller market. It's
and I think
a beautiful place to live. Let's just be honest. I mean, just
it is.
Yeah,
it
much.
is.
I think you and Adam are 100% correct. That's another feather in the cap in this situation. It's not a big market, but enough of a market that can make a swing because they have the pieces to put together.
Right. Exactly. And for me, like, I don't know. Time's going to tell whether he gets better or not, or whether he's. But again, he's playing for his future now. He's playing for his next contract because there isn't a guaranteed $19 million coming from the Phillies next year. So he's going to have to try to have a good season to where he can go somewhere.
That kind of goes right into what I was just telling you. Like, he's 33 years old. So he's going to need one more big contract. He can't go contract to contract. He is not going to have $20 million to fall back on. So this could be the last paycheck he ever receives. Big contract he ever receives, ever. So, And maybe again another feather in the cap. If you keep kind of like just kind of adding it to the list, Padres might get a little bit more humbled. Maybe Nick Castellanos from the situation. He might not outright say I learned something from this, but he might learn something from this. And like you said, oh shit, this is my last hurrah, possibly.
Yeah.
This is my last chance of getting another paycheck and ending my career on a high note. And again, he's with the Padres, who have the ability to be the pieces to be a postseason contender. I mean, unfortunately, they're in the same division with the Dodgers, which makes things a little harder. And the Giants tend to sometimes come out hot, but they always seem to trail off at the end. At least more recent years. So yeah, all the things kind of really aligned for him to have a successful year. And yeah, you're getting Nick Castellanos on a contract year, and we all know how he can look like that because that's what got him $20 million in 5 years in
Here.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
he might have a resurgence, and he can easily blame well, it was because of Philly. They didn't let me be me, and I blah blah blah. And I don't think that's true at all. I think if he has success, it's because he's in the right place at the right time, and he's pushing forth because he knows his financial future is on the line.
Yeah, but it's not taken away. It says, "Do you think releasing Castellanos will be an addition by subtraction?" Yes, I do, because I feel like Aroldis Garcia can easily put up the numbers that Nick Castellanos did. I mean, let's not forget, like this dude was a beast in the postseason just a few years ago, and yeah, he's coming off an injury. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I just I'm very optimistic for this team, but it's a cautious, like I said, a cautious optimism because, like I said, we don't have, you're not going to have Wheeler to start, even though they say he's more closer to April 1st than June 1st. That's fine, but I want to see what the kid Painter can do. Also, too, how much is going to take out of our guys that go and play in this World Baseball Classic? Like the Phillies got like so many guys, they got like majority of their team is going to the World Baseball Classic this year.
That I'm not a huge fan about. And I've made my thoughts abundantly clear.
I don't know why they don't do it after the World Series. Like, it doesn't always have to be in the United States. If it's the World Baseball Classic, why don't they move it down to some of these Dominican, some of these island places or down in the Caribbean?
I agree with you.
To me, you're taking away now. Like we saw, what was the guy's name from the Mets, the closer? He blew his Achilles out in this.
Now he's a Dodger, Edwin Garcia.
Edwin
Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz. Yeah, he's now with the Dodgers. Which, by the way,
I'm looking at Adolis on my screen right over here because you said it, and I was pulling up just to get an idea because I wanted to see how true you were about your last statement. Because just even over the last, let's go to his career stats in 2025, right? Yeah, we all know that was his worst year yet.
Yeah, he was coming. He was battling injury.
So. He's battling injury, but I just want to look at it. He had a 227 batting average. When he was with Texas, he had 220, 250 batting average, but he was raking in runs and stuff like that. That's where the big difference was. I mean, he had 300 on base, 286 on base, 328 on base, 400 on base in 2024. So, I mean, that's the problem with the Phillies. That's why I said cautiously optimistic is the most perfect tag you can put on the Phillies right going into the season because they do have possibilities. They do have enough to be, top in the division. And I'm James. Thank you for chiming in. Please subscribe, and everybody subscribe. Let's see some of them like buttons come up. The more it is, the more we get this out there. There is always, like I said, Painter and Crawford, and like you said, Adolis. Adolis is another one. Like he's a guy who at his top of his game could be really good. Could be a number 5 behind Schwarber at number 4. That could be a huge, sandwich Schwarber between a really good Adolis and Bryce Harper. That could be a big difference maker.
Yeah, my only thing is I don't want to see Alec Bohm in the 4 spot. I really don't. Like put JT Realmuto there or put Chapman or Garcia. Put either one of those two there. I do not want. I think he plays a lot better and he hits a lot better when he's lower in the lineup. I don't want Bone being the number 4 hole hitter because
No,
to me he
no.
doesn't produce enough. He
Six
doesn't
six is the
produce.
highest I would put him at, and that's being generous to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I
I
would
mean, look, I would
I,
not be.
I would say right now at hopeful if I'm looking at my lineup, it would be leading off Trey. You can agree or
Mhm,
disagree with that. Leading off Trey. I'm gonna leave my number 2 open in the first second, and I'll get to that in a minute. Why? Bryce at 3, Schwarber at 4. If a Dulles is hitting really well at 5,
mhm.
JT at 6, Bohm at 7. Betting on Bright, here's another big what if. Bryson Stott. If Bryson Stott can get to a decent hitting like he did towards the end of this year and the year prior, I don't think it has to be like a you know MVP style caliber season. But if he can be better than a 9-hole hitter, but
Mhm.
in that 7, 8, 9 holes position, because you know what, I kind of like him in the 9 hole, and I'll tell you why. Speed, base paths.
Well,
You have because if you have him and uh Trey, because if you start off like at the end of the, so you got him, Trey, depending who at number 2, you could have a lot of speed up and down that lineup. Say
oh
Crawford ends up doing well, that could be another reason. You could have a lot of decent speed till you get to get to Schwarber pretty much.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you could have it be 8-9-1, which would be Stott, uh, uh, I'm drawing a blank here. Kid center field. Crawford.
Crawford.
You could have, yeah, you could have Stott, Crawford, Turner. Now you imagine that on those base pass. Holy cow, dude! Like, you're hitting a single, you're scoring 2 runs if
And
they're
you know
on there.
what? I'm not sold. Here's my thing is, and I'm not trying to be a hater on Alec Boehm. And let me answer. Let's real quick. 'Cause I feel like we're gonna. I don't want to go off here, but um, he wants to know? Do you think Castellanos can play along with Machado and Tatis? I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
I,
got 20 million reasons that he can play next to
I
those
think
guys.
I think anybody can play along with anybody, but why has San Diego just always fell short recently? Even though they keep adding on big payroll guys, pitchers, hitters, doesn't matter. They always seem to fall short. And
Yeah,
is it the blaming? Oh, we're behind the Dodgers, kind of like people used to blame. We're in the same division as Tom Brady and the Patriots,
yeah,
or is it just because it's too laid back? And again, it's another windfall for Nick Castellanos in this situation because he has a built-in excuse now. This team just always seems to fall flat. It's not my fault.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like looking at this, like I don't think Alec Boehm is a surefire starter yet. I think he's penciled in. Don't get me wrong. Um, but could Otto Kemp or even a Mundo Sosa challenge him for that starting
Mm,
spot?
I don't know. I think they're content with putting Kemp on the bench for right now. Uh,
I
you
think
know,
I, I think that's less likely. I'm being kind of funny with that one a little bit,
but
but
and
Mundo Sosa.
Sosa's the Swiss Army knife. He's going to be to give everybody a break guy. You know what I mean? He'll get his when Stott needs a break, he can play second. When Trey needs a break, he can play short. When Bohm needs a break, he can play third. So I mean,
And
Sosa's
also when he starts, he gets a little bit more exposed for an
yeah,
extended period of time.
right, exactly. And same thing. I mean, one guy too we didn't even bring up about the starting lineup too is if you want to talk about the speed thing, really, you can go from 7 to 1 if you really kind of bring in if you factor in Brandon Marsh. You
True.
know what I mean? Yeah.
That's why I said I left that open. Would Brandon Marsh be like, depending on how well he's hitting? But the problem with
I
Brandon
would
Marsh,
never put Brandon Marsh number 2. I would never
no, no,
put
no,
him
no, no.
number
I
2.
mean like 6, 7, 8 area, more or
Yeah.
less. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
James wants to know if Adolis can work better at bats, he could be very dangerous. That's it. And that's the other thing is the Phillies' problem lately, James, is, and agree with me or disagree with me in this situation, is they have been too much wishful thinking. Trying to get, it's the same scenario. Are we giving him a new home? Are we giving him a new outlook? Are we giving him a second chance, a fresh start, whatever term you want to use in the situation, and that will help rejuvenate his career? You know, that's the hope, and that's the problem. Everything's predicated on hope with the Phillies, and it's been like that. Every piece they moved in because they had such a, from wanting to spend stupid money to being making stupid moves. that we just we're taking chances on guys who are either past their prime, and we're hoping for a resurgence, or have had a drop off and we're hoping for a resurgence. And you can't build a baseball around a lot of hopeful pieces. And that's why I keep coming back to 2026 possibly being I don't want to call it a gap year. I'm not saying they're not going to try to win, but they didn't push all their cards in, or I mean, they did try to go get Bo Bichette. How hard, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was one of the ones like, if they got Bichette, I was like, okay, cool. But then you were going to have to move on from Bohm, and they were going to put Bichette in third. So again, I know a lot of Philly fans who I talk to on a daily basis that were like, oh man, yeah, we got to go get him. Oh man, yeah, you let him go to the Mets. Who cares? Like the way I look about it is this. All right, he signed for a 3-year deal. Yeah, he got a decent amount of money for the 3 years, but nobody else was really kind of knocking down their door other than the Phillies. The Phillies were about to spend stupid money on him.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to do the long-term deal. He wanted to hit free agency again. And I think that's going to be now a trend going forward. Really.
Yeah.
You're not going to, as we were
100%
seeing,
correct.
as you're seeing these guys that were signing for 8, 9 years, 13 years, you're not going to see that now. Now you're going to start seeing 3 and 4 year deals at a high rate of money. You know what I mean? That's what you're going to see. And,
Listen, I think the one thing from the Phillies that you can see if you read between the lines is that they know they kind of painted themselves in a corner with some of these massive contracts. But I hope they learn, like you said, from the Bo Bichette situation, that's changing now. A couple things have changed. Look at if you want to sign a superstar like Shohei Ohtani, you need a Howie Roseman situation with ghost years. I mean, his ghost years are 11 years at $70 million. When he's done his contract, there's 11 more years of $70 million. So, that's the kind of stuff that's going to get things done. Or these guys want some flexibility in their life. Like, we always said, what's more important to a player, winning or money? Both can be true. You know what I mean? Like, and then what I mean by that is, look at Bo Bichette, man. Genius idea. Juan Soto stuck with the Mets, right? He's stuck. He's on that. How long's that thing now?
Mm-hmm.
So if the Mets continue to Met, then Soto's just going to get a paycheck, and championships are going to be few and far in between, if any. Yeah. But Bo Bichette gets to go in there this year, 36 million he's getting, whatever it is, and try.
Right. And here's the thing with that too.
I'm out.
I'll go
get back somewhere else.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing too. Like, this is why I said, like, there's big ifs along the whole NL East. I mean, there is. Other than Washington, who's going to be bad, but I mean, Florida. Excuse me. Florida could actually be a sneaky good team this year. They really could. Now, the Mets are, can they gel? That's going to be their biggest question.
To that super team scenario, yeah.
Yeah, can they gel? The Braves, can they stay healthy? And you also got to remember too, they lost Marcell Ozuna too. Marcell Ozuna went to the Pirates. So they did lose a pretty decent piece out of their lineup. The guy, had over 20 home runs, drove in some runs for them, and was kind of a staple in the middle of their lineup. He went elsewhere. So again, the health situation with the Braves, can they stay healthy? Can they compete in this division? Because if not, like, the Phillies can actually kind of take a page out of the Dodgers book a year ago. Now, where you saw the Dodgers, they finished, what were they, the number 3 seed, and kind of went on the road and did what they had to do. But at the end of the day, they were, they were able to come back and do that. I'm not saying the Phillies are the Dodgers, so please do not take it as that. All I'm saying is, the way this division is constructed, the 2 top teams that you think are going to be in there could be right there and give the Phillies a fight all the way to the end, or they can implode, and then you're sitting there worrying about a team like Florida. I think Florida, they scare me more than the Mets do this year. I think the Marlins They have a good
Really?
young team. Yes, I
Okay.
do. There's two teams that I think can make the postseason that haven't made the postseason in a long
I
time
think
in the
Mike was
National League.
diving into his Valentine's Day gummies a little early on this one. I
No,
know.
no, no, no. Listen,
I make that joke because I don't know if you've seen the social media posts where like instead of a box of candy, it's a box of like gummies, a box of chocolate instead of that is a
yeah.
box of gummies.
But no, I mean, I think Florida's going to have a good year. Now, whether they make the postseason or not, no. But I do. I love, and
I was
I'm
going to
going
say,
to.
what is a good Florida year? Because they've had some terrible years.
I think they can probably win about 80 to 85 games. I think they can be right around 500. Um, you know, but look at the division. The division can have an 88 game winner to a 99 game winner or a 100 game winner. So
Yeah, and again,
there's a
that goes to
big
that question mark or the wishful thinking thing. Like, I don't want to go into a season going like, well, if this plays out and the Mets aren't as good as everybody thinks they're going to be, and the Braves can't get healthy, then it's a good chance the Phillies can line up and win this and all that. I just want my team to be competitive with whoever they go up against. I don't care if it's the Dodgers or the Pittsburgh Pirates or anybody else or the
That's another
Colorado
thing.
Rockies.
That's another thing with the Phillies too. They got to stop. Like they did too many down playing down to their competition a year ago. They did. There were series that they should have never have lost with that. And I'm looking at it like this. Like I said, everybody's they're kind of glazing the Mets a little bit. They're glazing the
They did that
Braves.
with last year
But
when
here's the thing.
Soto came.
But here's the thing. If you go back and you look at the quote unquote, I guess, prognosticators for this, they're all picking the Phillies to win the division. Even though we try to run it back or whatever, everybody still thinks the Phillies are the best team in this division, with the exception of a few. Some people may have went and did that. Me personally, I'm going to tell you this now: the one team that's going to make the National League postseason this year, and I think they're going to win the division, is the Cincinnati Reds. I think the Reds are primed and ready. They have a very good young team, very good young pitching.
That's why they were trying to get Schwarber. They wanted somebody with experience and veteran leadership.
And I think they're going to win that division because the Cubs took a hit. Took a hit. They took a hit. St. Louis isn't very, very good. Milwaukee took a hit in that division. So I mean, I think it's going to be theirs by default. Really.
Some teams got really better. Other teams stayed the same. A lot more teams in the Phillies, if you look around the league, like the Yankees. A lot of the Yankees fans are having the same complaints as Phillies fans that nothing changed, nothing moved, nothing really to write home about.
But you look in that division. That division's going to be up for grabs too.
The Orioles are trying to make a change.
Well,
I give that credit.
Yeah, the Orioles are trying to make a splash in that division. Tampa for a good bit last year was like kind of leading in that division. Toronto.
I feel like Tampa does that. They're either just hot garbage, or they just like, oh my god, they're so good, and then when they get a chance, they just shift totally.
But I mean, if you look at Toronto made the postseason last year. Hell, they went to the World Series. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Boston. Yeah, Boston went and got Ranger Suarez.
Rajon. We've been saying it wrong, apparently, according to Ranger Suarez. We've been called. He said he doesn't mind, but we don't. It's not Ranger. It's like Rajon or Rahar or something like that. Like we've been saying it completely wrong.
Spelled Ranger.
Yeah, it's spelled Ranger, but he during his press conference with Boston, he said it and he goes, actually, it's this, but I'm okay with the way people call it. Like I've like adopted it type situation.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to hit a couple of these messages. Look at Adolis 2023. It was great year. His discipline metrics were good compared to the year like 2025, where his discipline metrics, And I think Adolis is another reason they wanted somebody who's not just a guy who's known to bop. They're trying to get away with that. I think Schwarber was okay. We got our bopper with him. Harper, everything else needs to be like the Dodgers. I mean, I hate to say that, but like the Dodgers, like you have a couple big boppers, but the rest of them are guys who can pray and spray, like just do their job. And
I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that from Turner this year.
And I think that was a big reason Castellanos needed to get out here, outside the disciplinary issues. I think they were just tired of this free swinging BS, and they wanted to change it. And it was infectious too. They should try to trade Bohm. Rob, they've been trying to trade Bohm. Like,
He has no trade value. Like
yeah.
you have to have him have a tremendous first half of the year. He's got to be a borderline all-star and having a
But
good first half.
then you're not going to want to get rid of him. Like, it's like going to be
I
like.
would. That's the best time you have it to where he gets hot. Like I said, Bohm's
Well, I'm
only
saying if he's having a tremendous all-star caliber year in the first half of the year, and your team's doing well, do you really want to get rid of him when?
Bye.
I mean, I understand. I agree with you. But listen, if you like this is a chance you can win a World Series, and he's playing that kind of caliber baseball,
deuces.
Right, you're a better man than I am.
No, listen. The only
Whatever
reason why
Rob agreed with you was something. I forget what it was.
Okay.
We're probably a little behind on that.
Yeah, but no. Listen, hear me out though on that. Here is the kind of if you're never going to get more for him than if he's having a good all-star year. They're not. You're not going to wait till that off season and then try to trade him because you're not. That's going to be when the iron's hot. You got to get rid of him then. And you're trading an all-star third baseman. See you. Bye.
Yeah. NL East is kind of rough. James says it can
be.
I mean,
for
rough,
Mickey,
good, and bad. In some ways, it's rough, good, and bad. Mickey, what's up, buddy? I try to say his name like I always when I say Mickey, it's like I'm going Mickey Delaney. Like
there
I can't help myself when I see that name. Pittsburgh doing its best to load up to.
Yes, they are. They are.
They're trying to not get in trouble. You know that, right?
Like, I know because that owner doesn't want to pay nothing.
Like, the discussion is not just with a salary cap, but a salary almost minimum.
Yeah.
Because they're getting really tired of in baseball. It has it the worst, where too many teams just don't care about being competitive. Because even bad teams can make money. You know, it may not be churning Dodger style money, but it's a cash cow that does churn enough money for people, and they're getting upset about it. And there's a talk about possibly if you continue not just to, do what you're supposed to do, to also talk about forcibly sell the team or release them from the league or something like that. I don't know if you ever uphold something like that crazy. But
here's the thing, though. I mean, you listen to our guys, our Pittsburgh guys, and I'll tell you, they want that dude out of town. Because stop and think about it. If you're a Pirates team, look at all the revenue sharing you're getting from teams like the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, teams that are going and spending. Even Baltimore. Baltimore's not considered a major, a big city by any means. It's not. It's not a major market. But hell, they're spending money. Toronto's spending money. Tampa, who is playing in a AAA stadium right now, they're spending money on the team. They're spending more money. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's probably investment groups in Pittsburgh that are wanting to buy the Pirates. They're tired of hearing about We Are Family in '79. Like, it was kind of like us with the '80 team. You know, after so many years, you're like, dude, look, I'm tired of them trying out this '80 team. Can we win one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I agree with you. Rob, this is the most truest words. We've all been saying this for a while. Since 2023. I mean, we died by the long ball by sure. Again, I mean, Arizona, here's the recipe how to beat the Phillies. It's on a sticky note. It's not even a big recipe. Just don't give them any balls they can hit over the fence.
Mm-hmm.
If they got to play small ball, the Phillies are going to. And here's the funniest part. Go back to the beginning of last season. This is a microcosm, but it's still. If you look at it, the Phillies came out kind of like had like a hot streak in the first, 10 games, give or take. I think they're like 8-2 or something coming out of the first 10 games, and then they kind of cooled off and lost like 4 out of 6 games or whatever it was. Of course, everybody started losing their mind and this, that, and the other, but they got back on track after that and stayed pretty steadily on track from there. When they got back on track, what got them back on track? They played small ball. There was less home runs.
Oh, hold on.
Even Schwarber started hitting for singles and doubles.
Hold on. The conference probably going to arise, but is that the same small ball that Matty B said that they didn't play last year? Because they didn't play it enough.
It wasn't enough, and they stopped when things got good. They stopped. They got away from it. Like it's a bad habit. They keep picking up.
That I'll agree with. But he's literally said they didn't play small ball. What are you talking about, Mike? They did play small ball. I watched them come back in a game in Tampa that I had the Fightins final. I watched them come back playing small ball. and I'm like going, I just watched them play small ball to come back and win this game. So again, did they didn't play it enough as they should have, and that I'll agree with. And do I agree they have to play more small ball? Yes, I do, and I will agree with Matty on that one. But to sit there and go,
I think everybody will agree with that.
like they weren't smashing and bashing the whole year. There were times that they used small ball to either get back in games or
in late April and early May, there was a time that they were just one of the lowest long ball hitting teams, and people are like, "Oh, they're losing their identity." I'm like, "They're winning.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it. I don't need home runs. Home runs are fun. They're they're like they're like returning a punt or kickoff or something.
Yeah.
They're fun, and yes, when you're in a postseason, your team's down, and I know they kept showing the Nick Castellanos for was it 2023 against the Braves, I think it was, when he sent that moon shot out into to left field and kind of put the Braves on ice at that point. That was something they kept coming back and back and back and back and back and back and back to. I'm like, guys, talk about living off one moment in his career. Like, yes, he had a little bit more success last year because he got the opportunity in the postseason than some guys did, but he also made stupid moves. I don't know if you want to blame him or Topper for how that played out. He was dumb in some areas, but yeah, like their success comes when they're not. And look at the Dodgers. Like the long ball came at times, but that's how they gouged us. I mean, even that last game when it was 11 innings, it came down to, and it came to a stupid kind of brain fart, for lack of better words, on Orion Kerkering for it to happen. And that was because the offense wasn't hitting the ball well enough, and they weren't trying to just get the ball in play and getting on base paths and manufacturing runs when the Dodgers were. They're a big bopping team, but we kept them down. And you know what? Could you only imagine if we had Zach Wheeler in this past postseason? If he didn't get hurt, could have been. Look at the difference. Like we were close, even though we got down quickly. Even the Dodgers were saying it. Like they were scared. They were afraid they were coming out of Philly at all. Yeah. Even being up, like they didn't feel like most teams should have felt very confident being up where they were. So I mean, and there's another big question mark like that. I should have changed the tagline today to cautiously optimistic Phillies in 2020.
I mean, and here's the thing too.
Is he gonna? There's another one. Is Wheeler going to be Wheeler?
How's he going to bounce back? I mean, I know some of our guys that listen to us and chime into our show may get happy, but does Thompson make it out of the season before Don Mattingly takes over as manager of the Phillies? You know what I mean? I'm looking at this. I know it's Preston Mattingly's father. Mm-hmm. I know that's his dad. But don't tell me that they brought him here just to be a bench coach. He's here in case this thing starts to implode early. Topper's gone. And the same thing to how Topper got his job is how Mattingly's going. I think before the end of the year, I think Mattingly's going to be the Phillies manager. I really do.
Oh, come on. I'd say, of course. I would say he's going to definitely. Unless if they come out again and they kind of season like they did last year. Once they got on track in May, they kind of just, even though they had some up and down moments, they were in control the whole time. They're going to have a kind of same thing that got Topper's job to happen to get him to lose his job. But he's a safety valve if this doesn't work out. I'm honestly surprised, to be honest with you. And you know me, I've always backed Topper for the most part. I'm honestly surprised he was back this year. Like, really,
same here. I thought he was going to retire.
Not about him being too hard or too soft or too much of a player's coach or whatever term you want to use. I just thought a change in philosophy needed to be had. Now, is Don Mattingly going to be that guy? I don't know.
Well, we can go on and on about the Phillies, but I think we got to talk about our beloved Birds here.
Absolutely. Let me switch over to that here for you. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we talked about, we got the new O-line coach. Do you have anything to say about that?
Listen, Statler wasn't going to be here forever. I'm okay with it.
Yes,
no, he wasn't. Listen.
He can live forever. He is.
Listen, I know you have that statue of him somewhere in the Severi house
right here.
Yeah. So I know you got the Stoutland statue over there, but
Mhm.
um, in some ways too. But like, think about it for a second. He really didn't go nowhere. He's still kind of going to be a
I don't
part of
think he's.
the.
I don't know how much he's going to be in the building at this point. I think
Uh,
the only reason is they're going to pay him not to go somewhere else at this point.
mm. Well, I
But
mean, they, you know, I hear you on that, but I'm looking at it like
because
this.
if they let him go, he can go be an O line coach anywhere else.
I know.
If they keep him and give him some sort of title, he would have to move up, like
Hmm.
offensive coordinator or something,
Right.
passing game coordinator, which I doubt he would be. But if somebody just gave him a straight running game coordinator and O line coach, does that change his positioning? Can he take a job then? Like if
I
he
would.
got his running game and O line coordinator, like some people do, I think
No, I think because it's just he would have to be an offensive coordinator. Like Kevin Patul. Yeah, that's odd that they.
is it?
I don't know. I mean, now listen, if you go down there and you start seeing, Tua throw the damn ball all over the place, then there's an issue
Well,
because
is it him as much? But here's my thing is Kevin Patullo did a terrible job. I'm never going to defend his job in 2025 with the Eagles, but it was on the back of him and Nick. And you know what did I say? What I always say about Nick. Nick's a knuckleball pitcher. When it works, it's worked. It might be funny looking. It might be the weirdest thing you've ever seen done. But when it works, it works. But when it doesn't, it really does not work at all.
Mhm.
Um, and one of those
I,
moments where things don't work is when he has a play caller and there's nobody there to back him up because he doesn't know he does not have a feel for in-game chess. Like that's what a good OC is, like a really good chess player, like somebody who like we're gonna run this play, and if these 5 scenarios play out, if scenario A plays out, I'm getting ready with these 2 plays. If scenario B plays out, I'm getting ready with these 2 or 3 plays. If scenario C plays out, I'm getting ready. Like that's what a good OC can do. Like that's you have a vision downfield, not just for play after play like people play Madden, right? Like
Mhm.
just get that first down and move on. We're not worried about the next place, but that's what a good one does. But if you are new and haven't done it yet, and again, I told you, Kevin Patullo was a hubris signing at the end of the Super Bowl run in 2024. They won the Super Bowl. They were elated. We don't need another OC. We got a guy in the house who can do it. We have the best offense in the world. And that was probably a reason we were as good as we were, considering how bland and vanilla and undisciplined our offensive line or our offensive play calling was.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, listen, to go off of, I hear some of the people with some of the excuses uh, pertaining to the offense of why it didn't work this year. Sirianni don't know how to call plays. Patullo never called plays. Our offensive line was banged up, but like, let's keep it straight to the offense. Killed themselves on a lot of drives this year with a lot of dumb penalties. You had wide. I don't know how many times did Schmitty get called for a false start? How many times AJ Brown get called for a false start? Tight ends moving, okay, holding
linemen
penalties.
in and out with injuries
Yes,
constantly throughout games, and
yes. I mean, you had Landon Dickerson popping in and out of lineup. You had Lane Johnson.
he had like a cart that just kept pulling him in and out. It's like
Yeah,
somehow the old giant hook that pulled guys off stage, like it pulled him out
yeah.
of the field type situation.
Yeah, I mean, you had Lane Johnson who was getting banged up every game, getting pulled off, where they had to go and reacquire Fred Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, for me, honestly, it was just in a hole. There was no discipline. And it didn't, I want to, like they said, they held everybody accountable. Like, I want to know where the accountability is because they kept making the same mistakes over and over again. If you're held accountable, you're going to make sure you don't do the same mistake again. So to me, I feel like they were kind of smelling themselves a year ago. The league got better, took away what they were able to do.
It wasn't
And
for a defense that was just, especially the second half of the season, unstoppable at times. I mean, again, it was a defense that kept that offense in the game a lot. How many games came down to just they couldn't score? Even that
this is
5 turnover game against the Chargers, I keep bringing that one up.
they
Five
were right
turnover
there.
game, they should have just demolished us. The Chargers should have came out of here with our blood on their cleats type situation.
Oh yeah, that game was 5 turnovers, and you got to win in overtime. I like this right here. Is there a chance Stout will wait out the Sirianni regime?
No,
I think Sirianni's on the hot seat. Like my man is sitting on a 5 alarm fire.
I don't know if it's a
I,
five
re-
alarm
I
fire, but I think it's definitely warmer than it has been, and I think like again, I think he's gotten away with some stuff because when the team plays well and they're really disciplined, they play well, but they need a guy who can think outside the box, and that's why I think Mannion plus him being the big up and coming guy.
I
I'm not
like the
I'm not
philosophy
sitting there saying
change.
they brought him in knowing that at one point he's going to be the HC, but I'm not saying they didn't say that either. Like
Right.
like it's kind of like Don Mattingly and like well he's a safety valve, and I think the only reason that Nick Sirianni has a job, one of the biggest reasons Nick Sirianni has a job is coming off a Super Bowl. You can't fire your coach 1 year after winning a Super Bowl, unless, especially when the team won 11 games and went to the playoffs. They might have s the bed in the playoffs. It would be a bad blemish on the Eagles if you fired Sirianni at this point. So that also I think plays a little bit of a factor into it. But yeah, they're hedging their bets. They hedged their bets with, I said, signing Mannion, who's the big up and coming person, but he's still new and wet behind the ears. So they had to bring in Grizzard to help because he's played calls one season in the NFL, so he can help out. Gets the Nick Sirianni stank off of any offensive play calling that way. And if something falls backwards, like even in the mid season, you can move everybody up a notch.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. Like I'm looking at it like this. If I like the fact of the tree where this kid comes from. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like that says a lot. He comes from the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan type tree. And that's offense, man. And you know, I've only listened to like people that have been around Mannion. Chris Long was a teammate of his. When he
Mhm.
found out he got the job, he was like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "Dude, that guy's so smart." Like he's like, "The Eagles got a good one." I'm gonna hold my reserve back. I'm gonna
Sure.
let this guy give him his. I don't think he's going to be the savior of it. Do I think this offense is going to change and look a lot better? It could.
I
It
think
all
it's going to
depends.
definitely change for towards the better. I can't say could it get any worse. To be honest with you, like any less vanilla, I don't know.
Right.
I
But
mean, at that point, I mean, I'm not exactly sure if it can get worse from just the style of play calling that they had this last season. But
are you buying AJ Brown's words that he's locked in? He wants to get here, wants to get to work.
yeah, he's buying him until he doesn't have to. I mean, he gets traded. He gets traded. Like, what is he supposed to say? Well, we'll see where I end up. I mean, that's just stupid because I think he's being smart now. Like he's not an idiot. And if one thing AJ Brown is not an idiot. He might be a diva. He might be an emotional person, but he's like one of those people you've known growing up who can be a bit of a douche at times or a bit of an annoyance at times, but they know they are. And they're like, "Ah, Mike, I'm sorry. You just know how I am sometimes. I get a little ahead of myself. My brain gets ahead of my mouth and I say stupid things and I'm sorry, Mike." That's
Right.
that's AJ Brown. That's AJ Brown. He knows he's a diva. He knows he can he can say things that gets him in some hot water or some trouble or whatever. Maybe annoy some of the teammates and all those different things. Like he knows what he's doing, so he knows that he might be somewhere else. So what does it look like? What good does that show him that if he's not, I'm ready to be a team player? Where does that help?
Yeah.
Rob's disagreeing with you.
Well, that's his right to do so.
Yeah.
From what my
Again,
from what my eyes see, that my man's sitting on a 5 alarm fire. Like,
well, I think they're getting tired of like I said, Sirianni does things that are really good, and there's some things he does really bad, and the things that are doing are not great or than bad. I think the point is like the good was outweighing the bad for a very long time, and now it's kind of shifting towards the opposite, and that's why the seat is warmer. At least I'm not going to say hot, but it's definitely warm.
all right, Al. Now we got to break in to these free agents.
All right, you want to go through the list, or you want to do your free agents first?
I got four that are coming off of Fox Sports. Greg Allman
Mhm.
wrote an article about the four free agents for the Eagles. It says four free agent moves for Philly after a disappointing 2025 season. And the guy's name is Greg Allman. Uh, he has first the re-sign Reed Blankenship. I personally would let Blankenship walk. No need for him. Um, you know, I for what it's going to cost them, I'm not going to put him up there at all. Let's see, who's the other one? Next up would be re-sign Dallas Goddard. I do agree with that, and I do think
Wait, hold
they
on.
could,
Before you say agree with that, is it? Of course it is, but how? What is your ceiling for cost and length of contract?
for Goddard. I would say I
Because
could
he's
see
having
him.
a career year.
Well, he's also 31,
I know.
so you can sign him maybe a 2-year deal.
Is he
Okay.
think he's going to take? Is he? I don't think he takes a 2 year deal. I think he's going to need at least three. Because anybody's going to offer him three. Because that still gets you to 34. I get it, but I think you have to at least offer him the two. But and
Right.
it's different than baseball. I mean, three.
Yeah. He says only way Sirianni will be going if they go 1-16. I'm telling you now, dude. They fired Doug Peterson after he lost in the divisional round. Think about this. He
No,
lost.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. That was coming. He got fired after the 2020 season, right? Yeah,
Oh yeah. It was
yeah,
2020. That's right.
yeah.
No, that's right. They lost in the divisional. So yeah, you might be right there.
I don't know if
Um,
it's 1-16, but if they lose, if they don't get to if they go downhill and they don't make the playoffs,
yeah, he's gone.
he's
He's gone. There's no way. But anyway, yeah, he said I could see them. I would offer him 2 years, and I would do just a little more than 10 a year for him. So I would do like 2 for 22, and see if he signs it.
I think. Hold on, let me see what. Keep going on your thing because I don't want to hold up on it. But
Yeah.
uh,
Number three would be to sign Packers Romeo Dobbs as a free agent, and I think they could do that as well. And that would be what you want to talk about a trio. Now you would have AJ Brown, potentially AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Romeo Dobbs as your top three wide receivers. Like that's damn good. And if they decide to move on from AJ and trade AJ, now you got a combination of Romeo Dobbs and Devontae Smith. The only problem is with Dobbs is his health. Dobbs to me, he's projecting that he's going to be around the $12 to $15 range, $12 to $15 million range. And last but not least, he said the Eagles should try to re-sign Jalen Phillips. So,
I think most people feel that way about how Jalen came in and just adapted.
but you know what though? But I kind of like what he put down. He said a 1-year, $15 million deal could get it done to allow him to reset himself, to go out and play. Because he did end up having more sacks with the Eagles than he did with the with the Dolphins this year, but he only had 5 sacks in 17 games. So I would love for him if they could re-up him. If they could get him on a little bit of a cheaper deal, maybe I'd do 12 and a half, just do 1 year, 12.5 mil, see if he'll sign for it. See what he can get.
Well, that's kind of where I think Goddard at 3 years, 12.5 million, but maybe more paid up front, like signing bonus type situation where it's not as much of a cap hit. I think that's the way they'll keep him in here. I kind of agree with James a little bit. I think Blankenship stays because he's going to be very cost effective, and they know with him.
No, because you're going to get into a bidding war with the Cowboys because Parker wants him in Dallas.
Yeah, but how much are you getting in the bidding war with Reed Blankenship?
Listen,
and then if Dallas comes in and over the top goes, we're going to pay him $20 million a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's stupid. That would be stupid on Dallas, but then again, it is Dallas.
Yeah. I just look at it like this. To me, I don't know. Reed's had his time here. I think it's time to move on from him. We have Jeffrey McCuba for a reason. He's coming back off an injury. You gotta let that kid cook, man. You gotta let him get in there you
Mhm.
know,
That
and
might
do
be
his
a
thing.
reason too that he comes back healthy. Rob saying WIP radio said Sirianni caused all these problems. Listen,
Oh,
we all
don't
know what
listen. Don't listen to WIP.
not all of them, but the big names that we know, we all know what they are.
Listen,
You know,
there's a
they're
reason why
baiting you.
there's
They're
yeah
baiting you.
yeah
They're not analytically breaking things down, but they're not 100% wrong. I'm not saying he's causing these problems, but he's not helping the problems because again, some of the Nick Sirianni things people complain about. I like how people complain about how he's too emotional. Like he's too like rah rah in your face when things are going. Like I said, when people talk about Dan Campbell chewing people's kneecaps off, nobody cared. When
right
Ben Johnson with the Bears and he was seen like just screw Green Bay and all this stuff.
yeah
It's
and ripping his
it's one of
shirt
those things.
off.
It's okay when you're winning. It's cute when you're winning. It's annoying when you're losing, and that's the difference.
But here's the thing though, it also depends on what narrative and what host too. I
Yeah,
mean Nick. I
some
mean
of the nighttime hosts are really good, and the later afternoon hosts are
Well, I'm
good.
talking about like nationally too. Like you listen to guys
Yeah,
like Nick Wright, who, and all intents and purposes, he's a Chiefs homer. He's a Chiefs homer. That's all Nick Wright is a Chiefs
yeah.
homer. And ultimately,
He's an MMA guy or a UFC. I forget what he is. He like that's what he came off of. Like his sports background was never in any of the major
dude,
sports.
he's a Chiefs homer.
Yeah,
And I know he rage baits Philadelphia because we will go back at him. You know what I mean? So that's why he rage baits Philadelphia so much. And like it's clear to see. Like, the night before he's talking about, the night before he meets he meets Jalen Hurts' mother,
mm,
at a party or whatever. And she's like, yeah, you've been talking bad about my son all year. And he goes,
yeah.
oh, well, I'm just saying what I see. Well, like this dude is legitimate. I can't take
Oh, Manuel
nothing.
Acho does it.
Yeah, him
Cam,
too.
Cam
You
Newton
know,
says some dumb stuff. Like
Yo, I thought that stuff with him and Gilly were like was really going back and forth until somebody posted up online. Gilly ran up on him, joking, and then put his hand out, and then they started hugging. And was like, he goes, I really don't hate him, and I was like, okay, now I know what they did. All right,
I know exactly what it was.
my spidey senses from my wrestling background kicked in. I'm like, oh, this is a work. Okay, same thing with Manuacho. He does the same thing. He's on there, you know, kissing up to whoever's on his panel that day. He's forever kissing up to Shady. But we all remember Emmanuel Acho. He was that guy that played special teams that barely saw the field. But he's going to come on here and tell you, hey, look, granted, can he read? I played football too. I can read tape. You played football. We know how to read tape. We know how to look at the coach's film.
Yeah.
But I mean, granted, we didn't get to their level. No, I didn't get to the NFL. Okay, fine. But
Oh, you didn't?
no, I didn't.
Come on, man.
No,
Way to drop the ball, Mike.
sorry, man. I like my Saturday night keggers. Sorry,
Uh,
but
James is saying I think it's a convincible playoff run or bust for Sirianni. The problem with Sirianni isn't the wins and losses; it's more way the team barely collapses multiple times. And I that's why I feel about it, James. Like you can collapse and come back. Now they come back and do another same thing down. And again, his down year is still a playoff run. But down year, then win the Super Bowl next year, then it's like, okay, do you take a on off year? Like, are you okay with that? And I think most people would sign up for that. But
yeah.
real quick, Joe. Oh, what's going on, Joe? Good morning,
Good
my
morning,
friend.
Joe.
Eagles should try to get Max Crosby. We'll talk on a little bit on that shortly. Do you guys think AJ Brown comes back now? 50-50 in my eyes, Joe. I mean, it depends on people willing to pay and if that will open up, that's going to definitely open up enough space for the Eagles to do a little bit more wiggle room.
I'm saying 75-35 or 75-25. And the reason
I
why
I like Mike's math, 75-35.
75. I meant to say that 75-25.
And
And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I want to see what they do in the draft.
Sure. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And free agent.
Another draft. That's when we got him. That could be another move.
That's
Draft
what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
If they get an offer they can't refuse,
Another first round pick,
first round or second round,
you
pick,
get an O line and maybe a tight end if you don't sign Dallas Goedert or something. Yeah,
I want the kid Sadiq from Oregon. I want the kid Sadiq from Oregon with the number one.
I know you're talking about. Very good. Because I'm trying to get my boy on from he's on a couple different things. We've had him on the network a few different times when we were at EOP. Come on and talk about his look into the draft as well as free agency because he's one of the tops in the online that I follow, and he's usually spot on with his stuff. Do you real quick? We're gonna play a little game real quick with you guys, and everybody feel free to chime in. I'm gonna read through the free agents of the Eagles right now in 2026. We're gonna play. You got three options:
Stay or
gone.
go.
Well, stay. No, well, you could say stay or go, or gone or stay. Whatever. But you could throw a maybe in there. You could throw a maybe in there. I'll let the maybes go. Dallas Goedert, is he stay or go?
I think he stays.
Yeah, I think the way Jalen Hurts is going to need him, I think he stays too. Jalen Phillips.
I think they get it done with him too.
Mm-hmm. Agreeable. Jacoby Dean.
This is my wild card. I think they re-signed him.
Well, again, he's going to be. If I know there's been Dallas is going to want him again. Same thing with Parker and all that stuff. If they're going to pay him some big amount of money, and the way he gets injured as often as he does, they'll gladly say thank you for your service. Goodbye, Jacoby. Reed Blankenship.
No.
I think he is. I really do. I think he's back.
Go on.
Brandon Graham.
If Howie offers him a thing to come back, I think he comes back for year 17.
I think he's done. I think he's
already said it. He said if Howie calls, he's coming.
Oh, okay.
So
Jahan Dotson.
Pains me to say this because I'm a Penn State guy.
Yeah, I know.
I think Jahan's going. I think he's going back to Washington, to be honest with you.
It'd be interesting. Sam Howell.
I didn't even know he played for us.
He was brought in as a third-string quarterback when what's his face got hurt. Who was the other third-string quarterback we had last year, beginning of the season? I forget what it was. He got hurt in the preseason.
Okay.
Brandon Mann. I think Brandon Mann's coming back. I think they're going to
I think he's coming back. Yeah. He had a good year. But Sam.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you got it. Joe House saying Goddard and Phillips stays. Joe House saying Dotson's gone. I think both QBs are gone. Oh, you think they trade McKee? I think if they can get something worthwhile for McKee, he's gone too. I think they'll find somebody else in the draft. Azeez Ojulari.
That's a little funny one because I think he's still he's injured.
He says he's unrestricted free agent.
Well, they were something about him the other day. I heard something about him about I don't know.
He's on IR. He is on IR right now. I think.
So I think that's got to get cleared up before he can. Okay. I think go.
We'll check it. All right. How about Josh Uche?
Yeah.
Who?
I would let him. I would let him go.
Adoree Jackson.
See you. Although I will. Hold on.
AJ Dillon.
Yeah. Bye. Although I will say, Adoree Jackson I think his game came on towards the end of the year. He wasn't as bad.
He came on against not good players. Like when the competition got stiff, that's where he got stiff. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Is I think he's good enough to play against bad and mediocre teams, but not good enough against really good wide receivers. And that's in the NFL, that doesn't fly. AJ Dillon, Harley Newey.
Bye.
Fred Johnson.
I think they re-signed him.
Wait
a minute. Fred Johnson signed. Didn't he sign like a 4-year deal?
Hold on 1 second. This is telling me I don't think so. Hold on.
Fred Johnson signed a 4-year deal with Jacksonville, or at least a 3-year deal with Jacksonville. He got in free agency. So if they trade it, that means he gets that contract.
Hold on. No, he's in there. And Brett Toth. Both of them are on here. Yep.
Well, then I would sign both of them. They'll probably both.
Not Brett Toth. Brett Toth can go, dude. He was brought back because he was a guy who knew the system, and they were hurting because they were going through line or injuries. He sucked. He doesn't have it in him. He's not that good. He wasn't that good when he was here before. He got exposed pretty quickly. Brett Toth, garbage. Goodbye. I don't. Especially if you can't get better with Stoutland, I don't know where you're going to play. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree with Mike Adoree. Robert says go. He was talking about you, Mike. He said get out. This is a good question. I mean,
yeah,
he's Stoutland. I'm like maybe. I mean, maybe they still leave him without Stoutland. Maybe they don't.
Mhm.
All right, so that's from a defensive standpoint. That is all your defensive standpoint. We got Goddard, we got Dotson, we
That's
got
offense.
Dillon, Grant. Yeah, no. I'm saying on the offense end of things. One is Grant Calcaterra.
I think they could re-sign him as for a backup, but I don't know. I kind of like Kylan Granson. To
I
be
know.
honest with you.
Bye, Grant. See you later, bud. Hardly knew
Yeah.
you when you had a chance. You didn't really come up big for us much.
Yeah.
Sam, how we talked about Fred Johnson, Brett Toth. We just talked about. Then that leaves Brandon Mann. We got him all right. So those are all your free agents. We did touch on all of them. I just want to make sure this one had a more broken down in the offense and defense than the other list I was looking at, just in order. I don't know who we saying stay or go, and maybe because he's a little off from where we're at. Where Max Crosby, where percentage chance that the Eagles land him?
I want to say 40%. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because it's going to take
A lot.
to get him because he just re-signed. So you not only are you getting him for this upcoming season, I think you're getting him for another 2. So 2 or 3. So me personally, I would bring him in.
3-year, $106 million
Yeah.
extension in March.
Yep.
So it's $35.5 million a year, and they have $20 million right now to play with.
Mm-hmm.
There would have to be a huge restructuring. That's my biggest problem. It's this money. He's got paid already. That actually hurts them in some ways and helps them. He would have his contract is through 2029. He has 91 million of it guaranteed. 91 and a half, should I say, if you really want to be exact. It's a cap hit of 35.88 million. So
I would still do the trade because you're going to need a guy opposite of Jalen Carter. And now you have.
You don't. I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying here's the thing is that we're forgetting about too, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
We're forgetting a couple important factors here. Carter, they're going to have to probably sign him this year at one point. If it's off season, if it's in season, whatever. Howie doesn't wait to the next season when he's able to go look around. They try to get him now. Why contracts are a little less, get his value now. So in a couple of years, he's not the highest paid guy still. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's some things that you have. Jordan Davis. There's another one. Here's a name that we're going to have to talk about. Does he stay or does he go? You got to make a decision on Jordan Davis. I think bringing in a $35 million cap hit, no matter how he does. So you would have to. Here's the thing: is you would have to probably give AJ Brown in this trade, right? Like that gets you what, 25 million right off the books there. So then you're just using 10 more million to bring in Max Crosby, but you take a great leap forward defensively, which was already good to begin with, but you take a big leap backwards in offense.
Yeah, but who's to say that though?
Somebody to
but here's the thing though: you go out and sign a Romeo Dobbs and you pair him up with Devontae Smith. Okay, and you still have Dallas Goedert, and you still have Saquon Barkley. So, I could definitely see them using A.J. Brown. If it's to go after a Trey Henderson or to go after a Max Crosby, hell yeah. I do like this about Trey Henderson. I think that this is just a sign. You don't have to, it's just money. So I can see the Eagles trying to go after him. But again, they're going to have to restructure some stuff around to go after a guy like him. You know what I mean? Like
Hendrickson.
I
was going to say, was I saying it wrong? It's like one of those names. Is it Henderson or Hedrickson, right? It's Hedrickson.
Hedrickson.
Yeah, with an X. Okay, now I'm not giving Joe a hard time. I'm sure it auto-corrected, but I've always I kind of had to think for a second. Is it Henderson or Hedrickson? Have I been saying it wrong this whole time?
No. So, I wouldn't mind them going after him too, but you also got to remember too, they've also drafted some guys too. Like, I think you can let Jordan Davis walk. Let him walk. I'm sorry. He's had one good year in 5 years here. Like, let him walk.
Well, what's his, would be his last year, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's a trade piece.
Maybe. Like you may trade him in somewhere during the offseason.
I don't know how much he fetches you because he is young. He's 26 years old. And he's only just 26. I think he turned in January. So that and he had a kind of a really good year. So let's see, Jordan. Oh, here we go. Jordan Davis. What was his contract? Oh, God damn it. Sorry. Great radio, right?
Yeah,
So
great.
he's 4 years. This will be his last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he had one good year. No, it's like no.
And he's a 12, and his so his option in 2025, that contract extension guarantees him 12.9, so almost $13 million. So if you trade him, you take $13 million off, and you get probably something back for him if it's not another draft piece or draft option or something. So I think Jordan Davis could be gone, and maybe that then if you get rid of Jordan Davis, Max Crosby becomes, maybe he gets into the trade. Instead of AJ Brown, who would help you unload a lot more money, but you're losing Jordan Davis, but you're adding Max Crosby, so your defense goes from dipping a little bit to bopping up enough where it puts you over the top a little bit more.
Yeah, but they're not gonna do the trade Max Crosby for Jordan Davis.
No. It's still going to probably cost you your first round pick either this year,
at least two,
and maybe a second round. Like, so, do you think Jordan Davis? And that gives them plenty of room because that takes a big contract off of them, and the Raiders will start making some money. So you can actually sign a Jordan Davis and have a young guy through. I think that's very plausible.
I mean, I to me, it's going to be hard. I think if they could send Jordan Davis over there, but like I said, they're probably going to have to send at least 2 first-round picks. Which, if I'm the Eagles and you're getting Max Crosby, guess what? You're going to be picking, between 28 and 32.
Mm-hmm.
If you get him coming over here. So, I would trade those picks. I would definitely trade those picks.
Max Crosby, wait, I'm going to see something real quick.
27, 28, something like that.
So Max Crosby's 20. We said it was a 3-year. We get him through 2029. The contract's through 2029. He's 28. So that's only 3 years.
Right. He'll be a 31-year-old pass rusher.
That's not bad. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you're giving up Jordan Davis,
I talked myself into Max Crosby in this conversation, doing my own Howie mathematics in my head. Like,
well,
if Jordan Davis is part of it, you get another lineman, another defensive lineman. So you may lose a little bit in Max Crosby, but Jordan Davis is definitely not a slouch, and you can re-sign him in the signing and get a first-round pick and a second-round pick. I think that can get it done. Am I wrong?
Here's the thing. I mean, you could actually talk with the Raiders too. Like, you could have Crosby coming with some draft capital back too as well. Like, I think personally, if you got Max Crosby in a 4th-round draft pick and the Eagles send Jordan Davis 2 first-round picks and one of their 3rd-round picks from this year out there, and you get Max Crosby, I think that's a done deal.
Yeah, I don't think they take a first-round pick. I think it gets a first, a second, Jordan Davis, and maybe a compensatory pick or something like that.
They're going to want the same exact deal. You got to start out with the Michael Parsons deal, which is 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So
I think I think that I don't know. I mean, I don't know how far you can go out. Do you do 27 or do you give them this year's and 2 years first-round pick from now? I just don't see the Eagles giving up another first-round pick 2 years in a row. For anybody,
unless they acquire somebody else's first-round pick. You see what I'm saying?
Now, let's take Tanner McKee. Now we're going down a rabbit hole. Sorry about this, guys, but take Tanner McKee. Everybody thinks Tanner McKee's worth a first-round pick. Now, I don't think he's going to get you a first-round pick. Personally, I just don't think Tanner McKee. Maybe he gets you a second-round pick, mid to late second round, but a second-round pick in this year's draft if you really need a quarterback. And there's a need for quarterback in a lot of teams.
Well, the Raiders need one. I mean, so there again, like
does Tanner McKee, Jordan Davis, a first-round pick, and a
third
round 2027 pick? Does that get Max Crosby to the Philadelphia Eagles?
I would take Max in a 5th. I would tell them, give me Max in a 4th, and then we're going to send you this. See what they say.
Later round picks.
Pretty much.
Would you be okay with that? I would be okay with that.
Oh, in a heartbeat. I would be okay in a heartbeat with it. Now, a lot of people would probably say
Jordan Davis. I really am a big Jordan Davis fan. Don't get me wrong. I really like Jordan Davis, and I like Tanner McKee. I think Tanner's a good dude. I just think he's a little blown just because we love the backup quarterback in this
But
town, rightfully so.
I don't know. Like, listen, again, you got to have two to tango. So I would wonder. I mean, I would talk to a Raiders fan and see if they would want that trade.
Well,
Um,
Raiders fans, I ain't talking to no fan about like, listen, no offense,
well,
but I want 5 first-round picks. Like
well,
you're gonna get that.
I
But
mean, somebody that's reasonable, like that follows the team.
the Raiders have some financial strap. I know they don't have, they had so many contracts they're still paying out on for guys who don't even play for them anymore because they made
yeah,
so
like
much
Jacoby Myers is like,
yeah. But so think about this. This is actually kind of ingenious. I think Mike Howie should call us. I mean, I think we stumbled upon something here just by accident.
oh boy.
Jordan Davis. So that's $12 million off our books, and he can easily be signed to them for maybe $20 million for an extension. And even for 4 years at $20 million, $80 million, $85 million contract, $90 million contract, he's still 30 years old when his contract ends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's that. You need a quarterback. Tanner McKee is supposed to. He's a. You don't have to. If you don't have a quarterback in this class that you're loving, because that's the problem with these teams that need a quarterback and they have a really high draft pick. They just pick a guy in the first class and then they find out that he's a nothing burger.
Yeah.
Like you feel like, but like maybe we can get Tanner McKee. Sorry.
Yeah, this class of QBs is not really good at all this year.
You can get Tanner McKee, who's on a 4-year contract. He's on his last year. It's a $4 million contract, so he's only getting paid $1.9 million. So that way you can see if Tanner McKee has, if all the McKeesters out there can get all excited about Tanner McKee, about and then you are not A, hung up on this guy. B, it's only $1 million trial run. And if you like him enough, you can extend him for $5 million for 2 more years. You're not like kind of like a Brock Purdy-esque type situation a little bit. And that helps them. And then you get a first round pick this year and a later 4th round pick, maybe. I think that's a great job for the Raiders. You might get your franchise quarterback. You get a really good DT. You lose your one guy, but you got to lose him. Like, I mean, a smart Raiders GM or fan would have to sit there and go, Max Crosby, by the time this team is good, is going to be old then. I mean, the team's going to take a couple years to get there. At least at this juncture. Let me just see. Tanner McKee, his age is what? How old is McKee? 25. So it's like, again, devil's advocate again. If it takes 3 years for the Raiders to kind of get back into the realm of things, you still got every guy you just got in your trade under 30 years old. Right. And you're not paying them a buttload of money, and you got a first round pick. This is where you rebuild. This is a rebuild year. If you Raiders fans out there, not trashing you or anything, but if you think next year's the Raiders year, you're out of your goddamn mind. And we're doing you like a service here. Like, I'm just going to sit there and say, you're welcome.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say. Adam asked this question a little while back. I'm going to ask you, do you think the Eagles extend Jalen or at least rework his contract this offseason? I'm going to say just flat out, yeah.
I would talk to him about doing that.
I think you have to. I think you have to. If you want to open up space, do you think they're even thinking about Jalen not being back here in the next 2 years? Right? I think there's no thought about that unless he just like falls apart. And if they are thinking that scares me more than anything.
Yeah, true.
I mean, he's 27 years old. He's going to be not even 30 in the next couple of years. You still have a really good team in front of you. Let's look at his contract right now. His contract gets you through 2028 currently. So even his contract ends before Max Crosby's contract would end. If you sign Max Crosby, he is this year's cap hit is almost $32 million. He's annually making $51 million. They have to restructure him. Unless you're getting rid of him, you have to restructure him. And this is what Howie does. You extend him for another 2 years, right? So that gets you to give your quarterback through 2030, which is still only 4 years away from now. That's not that far. So he's only 31 at the end of his contract, and it's an NFL contract. You can still let the guy go before then, and you just give him a lot of upfront money, and you lower that cap hit from 32 million to 22 million. That's a $10 million easily. I'm Howie freaking Roseman over here this morning.
Yeah, you're doing it. And listen here, dude. I just did a trade simulation on here. Okay, I just sent Jordan Davis, Tanner McKee, first round pick this year, and a 2027 third round pick to the Raiders. All right.
Okay. All
You
right.
got Max Crosby and a 2026 fourth round pick coming back to the Eagles. And it said
accepted.
And it was accepted.
Does,
it was accepted.
What were you using? Just because like there's certain ones that are just ridiculous.
It's called this one's Sports Track. And
Sports Track. Sports Track is actually pretty decent. I like theirs.
Yeah, so that's the one I did. I literally just did it, and it was I was like, let me see. So yeah, we said a first this year and a 2027 third round pick, along with McKee and Jordan Davis for Max Crosby and a fourth rounder this year.
And in the process, you don't get your first round pick, which is a little painful in some ways, just because we definitely need some O-line help somewhere. So you're definitely gonna have to finagle some trade out, and you save with Jordan. You lose almost 13 million and $1 million with Tanner, so you're at 13, 14 million total. You'll be saving, which goes towards the what we say 35 million.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I just added a 2027 second round pick to the Eagles as a part of that deal, and it's still accepted.
Without the first, so you take the first, you give them your second?
No. We given our first, given our third in 27 with Jordan Davis, Tanner McKee. You're getting Max Crosby, a 2026 fourth rounder this year, and a 2027 second rounder. I'm going to see if they give me a third rounder too, just to see if they give it to me.
I think at this point you're being ridiculous. I think a real person in there is not giving you more than Max Crosby and some late round pick next year or this year.
Well, I don't know. It's still saying accepted.
A mid. I know they're accepting it, but it's still the software. Like you take that into consideration a little bit.
It is. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I don't think that would ever happen. You wouldn't get a second and third round pick for next year. They would not give up their two second and third round picks.
But here's the thing: it's a smart play for the Raiders to do that, and that's the biggest problem.
Yeah,
is it being a smart play, because that's not their forte, and I rhymed not on purpose.
Yeah.
So Mike, it is Valentine's Day weekend.
Yep.
Did you do anything with your love bug or Jamie?
Did I do anything with my wife? Oh no.
No.
She got cooties.
So what do you and your girlfriends go out or something?
Yeah. No, actually we just had a nice romantic evening in.
Good.
Romantic mean
I want to ask the people still listening at this moment in time. Valentine's Day. And my wife is very much, I don't know about Jamie, maybe in the beginning it changes a little bit. The Valentine's Day thing, is it overblown to you? Like I know for us guys it is. Like we could care less about Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But even Jamie go, it's just another Saturday in February for me.
My wife does not like chocolates. So I don't have to worry about running out and going to get a chocolate covered rose or
my wife doesn't like flowers.
Yeah.
You want to hear funny? I'll tell you a funny Valentine's Day story for you guys. Mm-hmm. So you know the Steven Singer, right? And he does those roses, those jewel, whatever. What do you call them?
Rose dip gold. Gold dip roses.
Gold dip roses, yes. And he has different colors and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it's not super expensive, and it's something I could do like every year, almost like, oh, here it comes, and add it to her collection. And it could be like something she puts in her we call it her Christmas room. You know about it, that room when you first walk in my house. before you get to the sports room. You had to go walk through her room. I'm like, that could be cool. She can decorate her room in these gold dip roses and all this stuff. And this was years back before we even had that. But I'm like, this could be a cool little collection for her. So I went online and ordered it one night. The next morning, we were actually driving to work together. We don't usually do this, but her car was getting worked on or whatever. So we're driving to work, and here comes the radio. I'm, listening to WIP or some sports radio in the morning, and I'm listening to it, and a commercial comes on for I Hate Steven Singer, right? And I Hate Steven Singer. Oh, the gold dip roses, $40, $50. Da, da, da. My wife just listened to it. She's like, that is so stupid. That is just a dumb. Who would want that? And I'm sitting there going, better call and cancel that. And I told her about it that day, like not that time, like after that Valentine's, after I gave her a present.
I don't know, man.
Do you still do presents for Valentine's? When did you stop? How far into your relationship did you stop doing presents for Valentine's Day?
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. My wife will tell you, I don't need a reason or a holiday to give her gifts. I give her gifts throughout the year. And I just
are a gift, by the way.
Yes, I am
happy to have you.
I am.
Wake up every morning with a bow on your head and go, Merry Christmas every morning.
Yes.
Here's your gift.
Yeah. I mean, no, look, I already told her. I said, well, look, I said, I'm going to be nice to you today because this is your day. I said, but, March 14th.
Oh, yes.
So,
steak
and for all you,
something else day.
Yes, steak and something else day, which you fellas, if you don't know, Google it.
Yes, Google March 14th. What is
men's Valentine's Day?
Yes, they call it steak and something else day. You guys can fill it out from there. And my wife actually, she talks about that more than she talks about Valentine's Day. That's why I'm a lucky man. But Valentine's Day is overrated and very expensive. Yeah, Joe. I mean, it's literally a corporate holiday. There was a fill gap between there and Easter for the most part. I mean, you're coming off Christmas, everything's hot, then everything's slow.
Yeah.
What's the best way of doing? Going out to buying things like jewelry and going out to dinners and stimulating the economy that way. That's all it is an economy stimulator. And listen, I still try to do nice things. My wife gets me a card. I got her. Her birthday is on March 6th, so it's very close to Valentine's Day. So I buy her things for her birthday, and then maybe one of those things becomes her Valentine's Day present. I can say that out loud. You know what I'm saying? She's not too far from here. You know what I mean? Like that's how you handle these situations. Rob, off topic, Al. When is Delco Day? Rob, I have a meeting this Tuesday. This Tuesday. And nothing will be said more than that. I have a meeting this Tuesday. Okay? That's all I can say about that.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Hey guys, Amanda and I went out last night to the restaurant, the Yard House in Moorestown. And then we went to see Split Decision at PJ's in Cherry Hill. Good time. All right. Well, see, here's my thing, Dave. I'm cool with, hey, you want to make it a night out? That's fine. Me and my wife don't get enough nights out as it is. And if we need Valentine's Day to make it that way, then so be it. And, they have like the restaurants usually have like the couples specials. And when I was younger, when we started dating, my wife, she used to do Valentine's Day like over the top. Like that was her big day. Like she would get like, we did a Vegas trip one year, our first like couple of years dating. We did.
I did that too. My ex-wife, her birthday's the day before Valentine's Day, so we actually went to Vegas. I took her to Vegas for her birthday. Yeah,
birthday / Valentine's. So she did the Clarion Hotel, the Inn of the Dove. If you remember that, for those who this passionate lover that I am. You know what I mean? She wanted to take a full experience of this on a Valentine's Day. This machismo she couldn't get enough of.
That poor woman.
Don't let the gray beard fool you. You know what I mean? This young stallion here.
We got to go home on this note. We got to go home. Jesus,
well, I'm glad Amanda and Dave went out. And listen, I'm not saying don't go out and be with your significant other. I just think it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. And then the fact is, if you do go out, they're going to everything's upcharged. That's the other problem. Just make it a night out where we don't have to go upcharged. That's all.
Dude, I remember me and Jamie went to Atlantic City one night. Mikey, what's up, buddy?
Mikey coming in late.
Oh, yo, dude. What's up with this there, Pappernick? A little late here, buddy.
Listen, it's very much overblown.
Oh, it is. I remember one time, like I said, we went down when me and Jay first started dating, we went to somewhere down. I think it might have been Harris down in the shore, or, down Atlantic City, and like the room, like was like $700 for a standard room. I said, for
Yeah,
what? She's like, well, it's Valentine's Day in Atlantic City. I said, lady, Atlantic City's a ghetto. Like, I'm not leaving the hotel. Like,
no,
like, what's so special about being down here? I'm like,
no.
I just remember it was just a crazy price. And Jay was like, yeah, no, we're not paying that. She was like, I think it was, no, we ended up staying at Harris, but it was somewhere else that was charging that amount of money. And she was just like $640 for a room. She was like, no, absolutely not. I was like, all right. That's how I know she was a keeper.
Yeah, no, and like that's my thing is if you just let Valentine's Day be what it is, like take the present out of it. If it's just go out and be with the person you care about the most, then dinner and a movie or dinner, go away for a week, a night or the weekend. That's fine. I'm okay with that. It's the upcharging. It's the gouging because it's Valentine's Day. The same room you would have gotten February 21st for half the price. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. I never liked to dump Atlantic City. You know what? I only went there when I was younger, Mike, for gambling. Here, I'll tell you, Mike. So my father used to work for a big law enforcement agency that worked the whole East Coast, right? And every year he had a Atlantic City show. They had like the back, whatever you want to call it. And it was they would take over pretty much half of a hotel and have stuff for the whole weekend. When I became of age to go down and be able to enjoy, my dad would be like, "Well, come down, bring your buddy with you, and you have a free room to stay in. You can go do your gambling a little bit. I like to play poker back in the day, that kind of stuff. And I got free food and free drink most of the time, so that was cool. But like Mike's like Mike Laro said, Mike is outside of the strip. It is a dump. I mean, it's a scary place to be if you're not right there on. And that's a lot of casino areas because what they do is they buy cheap areas and build it up. That's just what they do.
Yeah. I like his next one. I spent Valentine's Day at the bar, and being single and got stoned and drunk.
You,
There
my
you go.
friend, you, my friend, are a genius among men. Just saying that, Mike. All your sports takes are usually pretty good, but your Valentine's Day take, chef's kiss. Okay,
Yes.
on that one.
All right, Al.
And by the
Oh,
way, just a real quick thing is to answer kind of a quick question. We talked about extending Jalen or not.
mhm.
One other piece of information that I forgot to mention that tells me even more. This year, 2026, marks the final year of guaranteed money in his contract. So that also makes a difference.
Okay.
So there you go.
Cool. Big question. You got any plans for today? What are your plans?
So we wanted to. She likes this place we get down there. Ever eat at Lucas Cucina in Morton?
No.
It's a takeout place only, but they have some of the best authentic Italian food. The guy makes the best homemade gnocchis you'll ever eat in your life, bro. I'm just telling you
Okay.
now. It's right in Morton, right by Rio's, right at the end where the strip of stores start going up in Morton there.
Okay.
Uh, it's like right on the end. It's amazing. So that's what we're gonna have for dinner tonight.
I don't know what we're doing yet, but I know I will be in front of the TV about 10 after 3 watching the United States play Germany in ice hockey. The gals were playing earlier, or no, they play tomorrow um, as they get set to play uh, potentially for a gold medal. So I'll be watching ice hockey today.
Yeah,
And
that's all you got to watch. I mean, I always said we used to do a trivia night, and then we said there is one of the pieces of trivia. What is the guaranteed night where there's no of the major sports on, in America, and it's the day after the All Star game in baseball because no football goes on, hockey's over, basketball's over, and then baseball's the only of the major sports. So we always say the four major sports. So that's the day after the All Star game because there's no baseball being had. So that means no
right.
sports are being had. So one of the other trick questions was this, except for that day, when is it that you'll have no major sports playing in in America, and Olympic break is the other day. So
Yep.
Rob's saying it's Valentine's Day suck. Now, Rob, depending on how you read that, That could be a
Yes,
good thing
that
or a
could be a
bad.
good thing or bad thing.
That's all. That yeah. It depends on how you read that. Great show as always. Thank you, buddy. And pepperoni pizza for dinner. Always a go-to, man. I love pepperoni pizza.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
Mike. Anything else before we head out?
No, guys, I just been it's been a good. I had a relaxing week. I look forward to being off again for this week until clear the ice
I know.
comes.
What do you do with yourself, Mike? Tomorrow?
I have a lot of work. A lot of work.
Well, if you're bored, maybe we'll talk about this later. But maybe make a pop in on a Friday night. I'm just saying. Yeah. Give them a little taste of Sunday on Friday.
I was going to do that this Friday, but I didn't want to come in unannounced. So I was like,
I don't give a shit.
I know you don't.
I opened up the lines. And Joe Howe came on, and Mikey P came on, and even Ian. Ian popped on, and we all had a nice little phone line conversation. You could have just called into the show as Mike L from Delco.
There you go. There you go. Oh God.
All right, guys. Plenty of stuff coming up today, meaning Matty B. The coffin will open. And Matty B will come out with his joyful looks into Philadelphia sports and more. And then the rest of the week, a lot of final word, a lot of Pittsburgh sports night until Friday. Philly Friday Frenzy is back, of course. And then again, Sunday mornings here, Philly AM Sports with Al and Mike. It's always a pleasure, Mike. Anything you want to say on the way out the door?
Nah, man. Enjoy your Sunday, guys. And for all you guys that are in our area, get ready. Some kind of nasty weather supposed to be moving in.
What's going on with that?
I don't know, man. I'm actually waiting to see what time we're probably going to go in. I was in, like I told you beforehand, I was in 4:00 yesterday morning for the disturbance that was moving through that never really kind of manifested. But
I kept hearing about that last night. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. I think it was like too far up in the atmosphere or something for it not to come down, but we were ready. So I would imagine we probably are going to be getting ready probably late tonight going into tomorrow. So
well, the video forecast, I can't listen to it, of course, but right now it says warm morning, slightly snow likely late Sunday. It's just not really giving.
Yeah, it's like it's going to be less than an inch though. Like so, be just enough to be a nuisance.
Oh, it's just like some girls' Valentine's Day forecast. So, other than that, guys, I'll leave you on that note. Have a great morning.